Hello, everyone. Today we meet in Dr. Sharnael. She is a doctor, a speaker, and also author of the Book of Miracles. Hello, Dr. Sharnael. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Miss Anna Brook. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. So let's start conversation by diving into your journey of becoming the person you are today. So, what was the pivotal moment for you where you realized that some shift has been made and this is the passion that you are going to pursue, and that what makes you fulfilled in your life?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's been multiple, just like everybody. I think every choice and different things have, made all of us who we are, whether it's relationships or school or education, environment, stuff that's going on in the world. I think there's so many things that are kind of intertwined that could be opportunities to shift. Some of them really good and some of them not so fun, and some of them really, really bad choices, that I took over time, and it just somehow I recalculated, thank God, and it took me a little bit of time. But I've had several encounters over the years that are sort of like spiritual awakenings, and those were big. But yeah, there's I don't know which one to pick, but my background is I did ministry for years just because I always felt like a real call for service and connecting
Mhm.
people to that intuition, to the God inside of us. And
Right.
it wasn't open and available to me in my own understanding of what was presented to me when I moved to this area. And so God just made a way in different ways, and here I am now, speaking and teaching and really trying to help people tap into their personal journey and to their destiny and their purpose. Because in my experience, what I believe is that all of us are very, very diverse. All of us
Right.
are very, unique in our gifting,
Mm.
very unique in our call. And that, like, for example, there is not another person like you ever in the whole, and there
No.
never will be, so you are going to be you, and we want you to be your best version of you, because
Yes.
without you, I'm nothing, and without me, you're nothing, and we all need each
Yeah.
other, and we all work together. So I'm just helping everybody not only find themselves, but as we work on ourselves and on our own journey, we're actually adding to the tipping point of the consciousness in this world to be in a good spot or in a not so light spot.
Definitely, and there are a lot of points that I want to touch upon with your story. And it seems like you got inspired with your calling through the work that you did and experiences that you had in your life, and everything was on time, it was on purpose. Everything that happened to us, it leads ultimately to the human consciousness that you just mentioned and to ascension of humanity. So we're here all together, we're all in it pretty much. And everybody is just playing their own role and they following their own unique calling and passion, and they expressing themselves authentically just to be the perfect piece in that puzzle, right? And we can be only best of what we are supposed to be, so we can't pretend to be somebody else and wearing that mask all our life, and then we're not of service, not to us, not to anybody. So we need to drop these stories, drop this beliefs of what we identify ourselves with, and start living our life the way we're supposed to, don't you think?
Oh my gosh, you said it so well. You said it, and I needed to hear that personally. Thank you for that is so good for me to hear right now. If you only knew. But yeah, we get the opportunity every day when we wake up to live in that authenticity and or
Mm,
pave to what we think other people need us to be or want us to be, or what we
right.
feel like we got to do because that's what the right thing is. And
Mm,
sometimes the things that look right on paper aren't always still the best thing. And maybe you wouldn't have learned all the things, if you tried a different
Mm-hmm.
way, if you took the easy way out, or, if you just caved by what was socially accepted by your friends and your family
Mm-hmm.
and, all of those pressures that we make up that aren't even really pressure, but over time, I think, at least for me, I don't know if this is just like an
Right.
age thing, but I feel like the older that I get, the less I care about what everyone thinks, and the more
Right.
I'm just more encouraged and confident in doing what's actually in my heart. And I wish that I could go back in my 20s and like do it all
Mm.
again with that same confidence, because I think I would have made some different choices, but all we can do, is help and be a guide in some ways, if we're allowed, if we're invited to be a guide. And if we're not, then, we'll just keep shining and keep doing our own inner work.
Right. So what we can offer to others is to show them our light, the way that we're aligned with our authentic nature. And that's an example for them to step into their power. But choice is up to them if they are ready for it or not. We can't insist on it. We can only offer and show what's possible.
Wow, you're making me cry.
No. Yeah, and I love how you told about our connection to God and to heart and to intuition in general, because people dismiss or disregard or don't pay attention to their inner voice. They don't think it's even something of value even, and they don't give themselves that credit, that understanding that they are worthy. If they are here, they are worthy by just existing. And we don't need to validate our value and show somebody that we're worthy of something just because we achieved certain things in life. It's
Exactly.
not why. There shouldn't be any reason. It's unconditional,
Yes.
right? We're always supported, always guided, always shown the way. We're given tools. We have everything. Are we grateful for what we have? Are we acting upon that?
Yes. Yes. And I think that's a big program, man. I know for me, performance, like what you said, I felt like if I do these things, I can be loved. This equals that.
Right.
And there was a time in my life where I was married, I had children, I was a mom, I was in school, I was working full time. I was doing all these things, to check off all my boxes and do whatever.
Mm,
And I felt in my heart like to quit everything and just be a mom, quit my job, leave school,
mm,
but I was nervous about like, oh gosh, what are the people at my church going to say? What are the people at my school going to say? What are the people at my, all these things. But I really just felt like, hey, I need this time for me. And I knew that there was like almost like an earth school, like a
yeah.
time. And it looked really weird on the outside to quit everything. I had a really good job making a decent amount of money. It was
Mm,
really hard to get that job. It was, I had fought to go get my master's, and I had really, really finally had got in, and I was
mm,
mid-semester, great grades, all these things, but I kept hearing, be still and know that I am God.
mhm.
And then I was like, okay. And then I heard, be still and know. And
Yeah.
then I heard, be still. And I was like, okay, okay. And so I started taking things off my plate here and there and dealing with rolling with the punches or whatever that saying,
Mm,
it's like dealing with people asking questions and questioning me and me just doing my best to stand in my strength. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, well, then I'm just going to read all these books and listen to all these, catch up on all this stuff. And then even
right.
reading other people's books and stuff, I kept getting like a no, a no. And
Mm,
then I heard be, just be. So be still and know that I'm God. Be still and know, and then be. And I'm like, dude, how do you be? Like what? And so I literally was just sitting on my living room floor. I had music on with no lyrics. I wasn't
mhm.
reading. I was just meditating and I kept hearing that beat and I was thinking, how in the world I was so like, how do you be? Like, And I realized in that moment, and it took all of those years, that I was just as loved laying on the ground doing absolutely nothing
Nothing.
as
Yeah.
than I was working all over the world, going to school, being, like that didn't matter. Like you said, like
Mm.
it only mattered that I was just going to be in that moment. And that was a huge lesson. And it still is, of just sometimes being is the answer.
Yes, and I think a lot of people not really experiencing that sense of just being or sitting still or just being aware that they are present here and now, and everything around them is just like a projection of their consciousness in a way, and they are shown some kind of information about what they need to learn about themselves when they interact with other people or have those experiences. If you're acting from a point where you're still, you're at peace, and you see clearly whenever you deal with your goal, with a daily life, everything that's happening, you know it's for your benefit. It's just the way you respond that matters. It's not really has its inherent meaning. The meaning you give it, it's important. But
That's
how
it.
can you give the right meaning and extract the value from that experience if you're not conscious of what's happening? So once you bring yourself to that state and you practice it long enough to make it norm for you, this is how you bring it to the world and you start acting from a different place.
Yeah, I love that you said the meaning we give it.
Yeah.
That was powerful. You were so powerful. Yeah,
I
because
try.
we make up stuff, right?
Yeah.
We decide what this means. We decide what this means. And really what does it matter in the end? It's whatever we decide something means. And other people could try to put their definition of what they think, and, usually when that happens, I get this feeling in my body. I don't know about you, but it's almost
Mm.
like angst of just like, you could tell
Yeah.
if you're paying attention. For me anyway, I can tell when I'm in a relaxed space and my body
Mm.
feels relaxed, that everything's going to be, okay, and then I'm on the right path. But
Yeah.
whenever I start to feel like if I go this way or that way, and it's like, but part of that is just really paying attention and going back to how are we feeling? What are we thinking? What are those voices saying? And I think sometimes people are so busy that they don't even take inventory of how they feel or what they're thinking.
Mm.
They're just taking orders from someone else and doing what the government says and doing whatever, the pharmaceuticals people say or whatever their doctor says, or, and not that those are bad things. Like maybe they're the right thing for you, but also maybe they're not, you know?
Yeah, but most important is to be aware, to be here, because once we are in that loop of thinking or pattern of behavior that we engaged in without knowing why we're doing that, people don't stop and ask themselves a question. What is the reason behind my actions at this
Uh,
moment? And am I even aware of why am I doing this? And does it give me any sense of fulfillment, a joy? So it has to be a motivation within you. Either that some kind of like pattern or it attached to a certain belief, but you are in control of changing that story for yourself. And you don't have to do what you've done or what anybody else has done in their life. You don't have to repeat that. Nobody force you to do that. So it's your choice. Every single moment you're making a choice, and you can change your choice at any point of time. And you're not obligated to continue. And you don't have to ask for permission for anybody, any authority that you consider is somebody is above you or you put on a pedestal. You are the authority for yourself. You have that power within you. So that's all you need to know.
yes, that is so freaking good. Yeah, if we I had to do a lot of inventory with that. It's not just like you said, it's not just what you're doing, but why are you doing it? Like
Yes.
when you said that, oh my gosh, I almost fell down. Like it's true because if we're doing something because we're afraid someone's going to be mad, that's not the right reason. If we're doing
Mhm.
something because someone's going to be happier if we do that thing,
Mhm.
that's also not the right reason. But if we do everything because we know that that's the right thing, that is the right
Mhm.
reason. And the thing about permission, I just heard my mentor saying this on a cassette tape. I know it's really old, but I had this old cassette tape that I was playing,
Mhm.
and he was talking about that permission thing because he was saying we don't need permission for our mission.
Yeah.
And he was saying that our conception, like at when we were conceived and that light
Mhm.
came on, and the sperm and the egg, and it created, like, that was our permission, that was our stamp of approval, that was us getting a yes to be here, and we don't need
Yes.
anyone else's permission but God to do whatever it is that we're supposed to do. And I mean, there's been people like the Eiffel Tower, for example.
Mhm.
The Eiffel Tower, the guy who made the Eiffel Tower, his name is Eiffel. How weird is it that he wanted to build this thing? I mean, you know how much crap he got?
Wow.
They thought he was
Mm.
insane for building this thing just for art. And, oh, there's my cat.
Oh, hello.
It really gave him so much trouble about this money and time and, all of this stuff to make this beautiful monument, which they thought was really ugly at the time. I mean, everyone just thought it was
Mm.
so ugly, but in his heart, this is what he built. And it took all of his life, to create this thing. And when we ended up being in war later, they actually used this tower for radio frequencies and to help get
Yeah.
communication and thing. And now it's also one of the biggest tourist attractions for people to go from all over the world, one of the top
I
monuments.
know. It's beautiful. I've been there, seen it.
Yes, me too, many times. And what if he wouldn't have done that? What, we don't know. And
I
maybe
don't know.
whoever's watching, maybe you're not supposed to build the Eiffel Tower, but in your mind, it could seem that bizarre. But do it
Yeah.
anyway, like just do it.
I think that that type of inspiration, that strong desire within you, or your passion that we call it, first of all, it's for a reason there. It's for a reason you cannot settle but think about it and want to proceed with creating something. Because if there is such inspiration, that means there's somebody on the other end of it, the receiver of that value, that is waiting for that creation to become, real and that physical reality. So you are just receiving that kind of message that you should act upon it because it's already of something of value. Otherwise, you wouldn't be having those kind of thoughts and inspirations. So you have to pay attention and know that you are support. That's, again, you don't have to know the whole plan from A to Z, but you know the next step and the next step and the next step, and then that unfolds naturally. You meet certain people, you have certain opportunities coming your way, something that you would not even imagine or think through. Some higher intelligence is navigating all of those pieces for you.
It's true. It's true. And, God does fund our projects. And
Mhm.
if that is our belief system, then it will happen. And my mentor used to always say, anything less than your highest will always contain self-sabotage.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, if we just settle for something because we feel like we're supposed to, or someone else going to be mad, or there's a lot of other reasons, maybe more money, you know,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of reasons why people make choices.
Right.
And when we do what we're called to do, whether it's building an Eiffel Tower or taking a job out of state or marrying this
Mm-hmm.
person or moving somewhere else or building a house or whatever the thing is that, people might be trying to figure out what to do right now. If it's in your heart, like you said, There's a reason why it's there. We may not know why, like you said,
Yes.
but sometimes we never know why.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll never know. And
Right. It could be after we long gone, but it still has to exist.
yep. And if you like everything that's physically seen right now started somewhere in the unseen. And so when we bring it to life and we give it breath, and that inspiration within us makes the creation of that choice, whether it's something physical or something situational, then there are ramifications and like ripple effects from all of that. And everyone benefits when we're doing the right thing and we're in the right time in the right place doing the right thing. But
Definitely. Yeah, especially the ripple effect that you mentioned is very like you don't usually account it when you do something, but this actually what amplifies, what really uh, gives, kind of change in the society in a way because of what you created. But you are purely doing it for your own enjoyment. You don't need any other reason. You don't need to think about it as if like how you're gonna sell it. You just need to focus on the creation process and really feel that enjoyment while you're doing that, to be lost in time and space and just like focus on that project just because you like doing that. That's all you need to know. And the rest will be kind of like put into place, and then everybody benefits.
absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, we're born to create. Like we are
Mhm.
creatures. The reason why when we're called creatures because we're creators.
Yes.
And we are constantly creating one way or another, whether it's on purpose with consciousness or by accidentally doing it with our subconscious default, and what I am trying to do, and I think what you're doing with this podcast and with your life
Yes.
is helping people remember that and remember that we are courageous and we are strong and we are, loved, and we have a destiny and we have a call, and it's just about being excited about that and really walking that out and embodying our perfect authenticity.
Yes, and allowing yourself to really step into your full power, not being afraid of it, not to sabotage yourself, but really catch whatever you're thinking or feeling in the moment and see why is that? What kind of belief you buy into? Maybe you can just let it go and, kind of like build a better life for yourself with something that you should just like start doing, maybe as a hobby, as a side project, but something that you need to bring into your life that will give you that spark, that inspiration, that feel of aliveness and creativity. And from that point on, everything will unfold for you naturally. And I'm
Absolutely.
so great that we had that conversation today. And for those who would
Yes.
like to connect with you online, how can they find you?
Yes. If you go to Dr. Sharnael, Sharnael, drsharnael.com, I have workshops, I have my books, I have my podcasts, I have several meetings that I'm going to be at in real life. I'm actually going to be in New York in the end of this month, and I'm going to be
Oh,
in Tampa at the
nice.
end of this month. So maybe I can meet you in real life. But yeah,
Definitely, that would be nice.
yeah, I was just gonna say too, everyone who goes to my website right now, I just uploaded a free class. So if you go, it's supposed to work that you go to the website and you'll get like a pop-up and it'll say, hey, do you want to get this free class on how to clear trauma? So that's available just for just giving me your email so I could send it to you. But you have no idea how much you helped me today.
Oh,
And I
thank
hope that there's other people out here who heard what you said and heard what we talked about and maybe have a pivot or an aha moment and we can have a better world because of this conversation.
Yes, and create that ripple effect just today. And that's a start. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy your day.
I want to hug you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.